Bubbles by Victoria Lane. Once in a time, there was a king and queen. Upon the birth of a daughter named Pansy, they had a great party. All the good fairies and elves and magical creatures were invited. But there was an evil fairy, who arrived in a poof and puff of black stinking smoke. She was offended for she was not invited to the party. "Oh," she said in a toad-croaking voice. "Look at the little sweetie." Then she cackled, lightning struck, thunder crashed. She raised her hands. A green light shone around Princess Pansy. "One day she shall catch a germ." With that awful pronouncement, she disappeared poof. The king and queen were horrified. "What can we do?" they cried. "Here," said the wisest fairy of all. "Use this bubble bath every night, and the princess shall never catch a germ." As Princess Pansy grew, she was not allowed out of the castle. Every night she had a magical bubble bath, with so many bubbles, so that they drifted out of the window across the land. The years passed, and every night Pansy would take her magical bath. This caught the attention of Ralph, a young pig farmer. He became curious, and he followed the bubbles to the castle. He wondered what the cause could be of this. He came night after night. One night Princess Pansy happened to look down out of the window. She saw Ralph. What should she do? Should she call the guards? Pansy thought this is a chance for an adventure. She called down softly, "Hello there." Ralph answered softly, "Hello." "What are you doing?" asked Pansy. "I followed the bubbles. I wondered what caused them." "Oh, that," laughed Pansy. "It's just my nightly bath. It's magical soap." "Wow," said Ralph. Princess Pansy and Ralph talked. Ralph told her about raising pigs and what fun he had with the wonderful mud fights. This was very interesting to Pansy, who was very tired of having to be so clean all the time. Princess Pansy and Ralph talked until the moon was high. Pansy had an idea. The next evening Pansy's bath was made ready. But Pansy did not take her bath. She let the water down the drain. Then she waited as an owl hooted 3 times. Princess Pansy quietly climbed out the window. Ralph was waiting across the land they went, the moon shining brightly, lighting the way. To Ralph's house. Ralph introduced Pansy to all the pigs. They walked in the mud and jumped up and down. They had a wonderful mud fight. They stayed out until dawn. "I must get back to the castle," said Pansy. So, they hurried, hoping that Pansy could get back in unseen. They came to the window. As soon as Pansy started to climb, she felt so dizzy she could not go up. Ralph thought the only thing to do was to go to the front gate. Ralph helped Pansy slowly. They walked. The guards were greatly surprised. As Ralph and Pansy came into the castle, everyone was shouting and running. But when they saw Ralph and Princess Pansy, they stopped. The king got very red in the face. "What is going on here?" he shouted. "Scoundrel!" he shouted at Ralph. "Throw him in the dungeon." The guards rushed and took poor Ralph away. The maids and ladies helped Princess Pansy to her room. She took a bath but had to be put to bed. The royal doctor was sent for. Princess Pansy had caught a germ. The king and the queen were in a tizzy. All the knights went on quests across the land to find a cure for the germ. Days passed. One night, down deep in the dungeon, a guard brought Ralph bread and water. "Shame on you," he said. "The princess is ever so sick with this cursed germ." Ralph looked down sadly. "Wait," he said as the guard was leaving. "Do you have a pen and paper?" The moon climbed higher in the sky. Down in the castle, the guard took the cook a carefully written recipe. An hour later, a little maid knocked on Princess Pansy's door. "Cook sends this, ma'am," she said. She made it special. Pansy sat up slowly. She sniffed. It smelled good. What could this be? She tasted it. Chicken broth. Noodles. She ate it all. As soon as she finished, she felt the germ go. She jumped up. "I'm cured." The king and queen were overjoyed. "Bring the cook to me," said the king. The cook came. "You shall have the greatest reward," said the king. "The chicken noodle soup has cured the princess of her germ." "Oh my! I must tell the truth, it was not my recipe." "Who am I to thank?" asked the king. A short time later the guards came rushing down to the dungeon. They opened Ralph's cell. "Get up. You are to see the king at once." "Oh no," thought Ralph, "now I'm in for it." Ralph came before the king. "I understand, young man, that you gave my cook a recipe," said the king sternly. "Yes, sir," said Ralph. "It was my mother's own special magic against all germs." "Then indeed we thank you," said the king. There was great joy in across the land. Princess Pansy and Ralph were married. They had 7 children, who all had pet pigs. Mud fights were as regular as bubble baths. And chicken noodle soup kept everyone germ-free. And they lived happily ever after. The end. If you enjoyed this tale, like and subscribe.